What's good, YouTube? This is going to be my non-spoiler review for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. To start this one, as with franchises like this that have several movies to them, I want to be sure that you know this review comes from me having not seen the first three in a long time, definitely some years, but I did decide to watch The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull recently because that's the one that I had not seen since it's been out. Having not seen that one yet, I wanted to also make sure I was caught up and able to have a more refreshed memory on how these movies typically go. I know many debate the fourth one as either being decent enough or just flat out bad. I've heard it from both sides, and while this isn't a review on that movie, I will say I think I'm more so on the side of liking it, but it wasn't without its faults. So as for the Dial of Destiny, I have to say the start to this movie, in my opinion, was phenomenal. They did a great job making it feel like a classic Indiana Jones movie. I really wasn't expecting as much as they gave you at the start, and it also was a cool way of tying this movie's story to it. Another thing that may be small, but I personally thought it was a nice touch explanation-wise, was the way they go about trying to achieve what they set out for. Without giving too much away, I'll just say it made it so it didn't feel like things were just happening to happen in order to move the story. Everything had like an actual reason for the most part, of course, you know, because this franchise has dealt with aliens already, so besides the obvious unexplainable, everything felt purposeful. The actual story itself and everything it revolves around, I have to be honest, I really did find the concept interesting, but to me, it was more the execution. I didn't really find myself into it all. I'm not sure if it's just not being the biggest Indiana Jones fan to start, because I felt, you know, like I was more of a fan of this franchise. If I was more of a fan of this franchise, it would have been way more exciting. If anyone is a big fan, I'd appreciate to hear your thoughts on this movie's plot itself and like what you would have thought of it. As for Indy's goddaughter, Helena, to me, she was hit and miss. There were moments when I enjoyed her character and other moments that just felt like it was just too much. Overall, I thought her being tied to the plot did make sense and thought it was creative enough, as well as with like explaining his, you know, son. When it comes down to it, I have to say, having seen the last one just before watching this one, if I was to compare both as being endings for Indy himself, I think Kingdom of the Crystal Skull does a much better job ending the story that is Indiana Jones rather than Dial of Destiny. It just feels like since they had already used what could have been the best ending for the character, they had to try and create something different here. As for things I want to quickly point out, the de-aging done for Harrison Ford was very impressive in a lot of the scenes. I'm not one to particularly notice things like that. I'm not real picky, or I don't look for, like, you know, things that are off and everything when it comes to that stuff. And really, the only time I, like, kind of question it was certain side shots that didn't look exactly like Harrison Ford. But overall, it was crazy just how good it looked when it was at its best, and for the amount of time that they, like, were having it on there. Mads Mikkelsen is always awesome as a bad guy as well, and when I see him as one, and he just has that presence. I mean, he has that evil presence for some reason, so he's probably a very nice guy, though. As for rating this movie on my scale, this movie was really a roller coaster for me, because I had times when I was really into it, like the opening. The other times, it felt like a movie that didn't really need to be made. So that seemed to happen throughout the whole movie with just like ups and downs, then by the end sort of conflicted with liking the idea they had, but when it comes to being the ending for Indy, like, it just underperforms when compared to the last movie's ending. So with all that, I think it fairly earns a 2 spot. I feel like it had a lot of things that Indy fans would personally enjoy, but also do believe that those fans would also have preferred a different way of it ending if not for the previous one we got. I would really like to know your thoughts, especially if you are a fan of this franchise. Did you enjoy this one or felt it to be just unnecessary? Have you seen Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, though? If so, let me know down below. If you enjoyed my review, please hit the thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And if you want to see more of my videos, just subscribe and I will catch you in those. Till then, take it easy.